All right, I think we're going live now, boys. I think we're getting there. All right, it's right about 2 o'clock. I wanted to get started. I'm trying to trying to check on my own end if it's actually live and if it's out, and I want to get the link to like tweet everything out and everything. I want to give people a little bit of time to actually get in, and then we will get started in a couple of minutes. We should be live. We should be good. But yeah, I don't do this very often, so we're still kind of working out some of the kinks. I know we started a little bit early before. I know some people got in. It was a little bit scuffed, but hopefully we're back now. Hopefully we're ready to go. I'm just going to pop into my own stream. I'm going to get the link. I'm going to get it tweeted out, and then we can get started. I got out and everything. Actually, a ton of stuff ready to go. I'm ready to talk. I plan on these podcast episodes being about half an hour long. But again, this is the first time I've ever done this, so I don't really know what 30 minutes of content looks like. I think I have probably more than 30 minutes of stuff to talk about, honestly, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm glad if you guys are here. I'm glad if you guys are excited. We're going to be doing around a 30-minute podcast episode. The VODs are going to be on Patreon, but we're always going to be going live here on YouTube. And then at the end, hopefully we'll have the time to answer a couple of your guys' questions, but I have some topics that I want to talk about, including the LEC playoffs, the LCS playoffs, and PSG Talon, the crazy run they've been on. So let me tweet out this link really quick, and then we can kind of get started. Let's go. Podcast episode number 1 is live right now, and then we'll kind of get it going from there. And like I said, we'll record this. We'll put it on Patreon after for anyone who wants to watch it after, but anyone coming live, that's awesome too. You can be here for the first ever episode of Beyond the Rift with IAMJERM. I imagine it's going to be a little bit more chill than my YouTube videos where, you know, I get to sit down and like pop off for 5 to 10 minutes. Probably can't do that for a half hour straight, but hopefully it'll still be fun. Hopefully we'll still have some cool topics, and it'll just be some longer form stuff. We'll you know, maybe not go as crazy on things, but we can hit a bunch of different stuff, kind of some different topics I'm looking at for the week and everything. I do think it should be fun. Go back to my profile for a second. What else was I gonna do? Oh yeah, I want to put out a YouTube poll telling people that I'm live. That was the other thing I want to do. And then after I do that, we can get started. I'll hit a little intro. We'll get going. I'm here and I'm not even active on Twitter. Yeah, I mean, I think this is cool because I'm going to put it on Twitter. I'm going to put it on a YouTube poll, and then it'll go out to people on their YouTube homepage too. So hopefully we get a decent little audience for this. But even if not, this is the very first time I'm doing this. So, you know, a lot of people don't even know that I was going to be doing this or anything. So we'll just kind of see what happens. Podcast episode number 1 is live right now. Come hang. And I'm gonna put out the image. Made a quick little, you know, threw a little something together real quick in Photoshop. Beyond the Rift with IAMJERM. Hopefully you guys you know, like that. But all right, we'll print out that post. And then yeah, we'll get started here. I got a ton of tabs open and ready to go, and yeah, we'll go from there. I think I'm good. Gotta drag this one up real quick. 1 second. This is gonna get easier and better as we go, as we do more episodes. I'm gonna learn more of, you know, kind of what I'm doing here. But yeah, here we go. All right, guys, welcome. Thank you guys all so much for being here live. This is Beyond the Rift with me. I am Germ. This is a new competitive League of Legends podcast that I am starting. My plan is to record one 30 to 45 minute episode every single Monday. We'll have a segment dedicated to the LEC, a segment dedicated to the LCS, and then kind of some random other topics thrown in there as well, maybe answering some viewer questions, stuff like that. I am going to live stream it on YouTube every single Monday, and then I am also going to be uploading the podcast VODs onto Patreon. So if you are interested in getting, you know, the podcast on demand, having some longer form content to listen throughout the week, you know, if you're just kind of chilling at home, driving to work, whatever, Beyond the Rift with IAMJERM will be uploaded to Patreon as well. But everyone that is here right now, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Yes, sir, I am Germ, and let's get started. First up, we're going to try and get a half-hour episode out of this, so it's 2:04 right now. We're going to try to go to 2:34. We'll see what happens. We're going to start off by talking about the LEC playoffs. It is starting this week. Obviously, they took last week off. Every team has an extra week to prepare. Where over in the LCS, you know, every team, you had to earn that bye. You had to earn that extra week off. In the LEC, everyone's got that extra week. Everyone should be pretty fresh. Everyone should be really well scouted. And we're starting off with some matchups that have just so many implications. Every single one of these matchups. We start off with Rogue and Misfits at the top. One of these teams will be going to Worlds. You know, Rogue did something really, really good, obviously, by securing this position. They get to play against Misfits, and everyone kind of considers Misfits the weakest of these 6 teams here, and they just have to win one best of 5, and they qualify for Worlds, and that is such a good thing for them because the LEC is very, very tough at the top this year. There is very, very dedicated there is really tough competition. It's going to be tough to get one of those top 3 spots. The LEC does not have 4 spots this year. They only have those 3. So, if you end up in the losers bracket, or if you even have to play against Mad Lions or G2 in that first round, stuff is going to be way more difficult. Stuff's going to be way more tough. So, obviously, Rogue coming out with that 1 seed in the regular season was a huge deal. And now they're matching up against Misfits. And Misfits has been kind of that wild card team, kind of that dark horse team. And they're looking to pull off a big upset. I think their kind of style of the crazy, chaotic, pulling these big wins out of nowhere, I think is a lot better suited for best of 1s than best of 5s. And Rogue's kind of slower, more controlled pace, kind of keeping things more under control, is much more suited for a best of 5. Now, with that being said, Rogue has been a little bit inconsistent here and there. Obviously, they were the 1 seed in the regular season, but they have, in the past, choked some games. They have, 1, struggled to win games against G2 really ever. They choked the finals against Mad Lions. They choked a game a couple of weeks ago against Mad Lions where they had some huge, gold leads. But all that being said, in the end, I do think that Rogue is a much better team than Misfits. I think they have much more best of 5 experience. I think they have much more playoff experience. And overall, I just think they are stronger. And I think they should come out of this one on top very, very easily. And I think that's going to be a big sigh of relief for Rogue. Just needing to win this one best of 5. They got themselves into a great position. I could see Misfits stealing a game, but I really think Rogue should be able to handle this one pretty handily. They shouldn't have any mental block like sometimes they have against G2 or even like Mad Lions or something like that. This should be a series that, again, they've had an extra week to prepare for. They come in strong. They come in ready to go. I'm taking Rogue like 3-1 over Misfits. I don't know. I'd definitely be curious to hear what a lot of you guys think. Pop in the chat. Let me know what you think between Rogue and Misfits, what you guys are taking in this series, how many games, what you guys are thinking. But I'm thinking Rogue is going to be a heavy, heavy favorite. Misfits, great season. Awesome stuff. I love what they've done. I hope they can keep the core of this roster together and develop for the future. Video is looking like he will be a star someday in the LEC. Here has been great. Razork has been great. And then Vander and Kabe are just real solid in the bot lane. But I think Rogue outclasses them. I think they'll be able to get it done. But I'm definitely going to be tuning in. This is going to be an exciting, fun series. And again, with that world spot on the line, that would be interesting. And then all of a sudden, if Misfits does pull off an upset, that would be crazy. That really shakes things up. If Misfits pulls off an upset, secures the world spot, and sends Rogue down to the losers bracket, things get real chaotic. Things get real crazy. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think that is pretty unlikely. But man, it would be fun. It would be interesting. The next kind of series we got a couple people. Brendan is taking Rogue 3-0. Jeff is taking 3-1 for Rogue. I agree there. He says he would be surprised if Misfits can take a game from Rogue, to be honest. Yeah, I know, but Misfits has been pulling off unusual kind of wins throughout the whole season. So I don't know. We'll really just have to wait and see. Next up, obviously, the series between Mad Lions and G2. This is going to be so fun. It's going to be so interesting. And there's really a ton on the line. Again, double elimination, yes. So the loser isn't that big of a deal. You're not too worried if you lose, but you don't want to go to the losers bracket. You don't want to be down there. It just makes it so much harder. It makes it so much more stressful. And if you win, you're automatically at Worlds. So these are two teams that have a history. Mad Lions and G2, it seems like they always match up in the playoffs. It seems like they are always trash talking. They're always going back and forth. They're always meeting up in huge games because they've been two of the best teams in Europe over the last couple of seasons. And this is just another iteration of that rivalry. And this should really be a spicy one. Mad Lions finally took down, the championship last split, which was awesome for them. They're on the come up, and they went to MSI and they looked decent. They were pretty good, but now you have G2, who in the second round robin went 8-1, something like that. They have been coming on strong. They are just ready to go, and it's G2, dude. It's G2 with Reckless. They got Caps playing a little bit better. You know, this is bald Caps. This isn't old Caps that we're dealing with. Jankos all of a sudden looks like he's in like MVP form. Mickey looking way better in the summer than he did in the spring. Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely leaning towards G2 here. But if Mad Lions comes out and is able to win, I think they're going to need big performances from Arma. I think they're going to need big performances from Carzzy as well, which is going to be tough. Arma and Carzzy are real wild cards for me. When they're good, they're very, very good. But when they're bad, they're bad. And I think G2, with so much on the line, so much pressure, such a big series, so much to play for, I really do kind of think they're going to be able to get this done. Some interesting things actually coming out of this, though. Mad Lions, I saw this Reddit thread, has actually signed Visachachi as a top lane positional coach for Arma. So that's kind of interesting. I have thought that Arma is very, very talented. A guy with a ton of potential. But he's been a little bit inconsistent. I could see how a little bit of coaching, especially from a guy with as much experience and as much knowledge, and a guy who's been in some big games before and has done pretty well in the LEC, I think some coaching from Visachachi to Arma could be pretty beneficial. Now, you know, signing him on such a short notice, you know, I don't think they're going to be able to make huge strides really, really quick. But maybe into the future, this could be a good pickup if they are, you know, going to be holding on to Arma for the future and everything. I'm taking G2. I could see a very, very close series. I could see G2 taking this one down like 3-2, something like that. But I do see G2 going to Worlds. I do see them winning this series, and I think it's going to be interesting. But yeah, I'm so excited for this. I'm so curious to see what the viewership's going to be. This is two massive fan bases, so many big name players, so many superstars ready to go. But yeah, I think G2 is just a little bit more complete. They've been so hot in the second half. I really can't see them losing the series. And then finally, down the losers bracket, we have Fnatic and Vitality. I think this one should be pretty one-sided for Fnatic. I think Fnatic has looked pretty good. They are in the losers bracket now because of how rough they were in the spring split. And Vitality, they really didn't live up to the expectations and the hype of everyone. So, you know, I don't really have too high expectations for them in the playoffs. Leader, a guy who was really inconsistent, had a ton of weird deaths. I expect that to be amplified in the playoffs. Top lane, Shizgenda, their top lane has really been weak, whether it's been Shizgenda or SLT. I think that's going to struggle as well. I think Selfmade will show up. I think Crown Shot will show up. I think Lebrov has been good this season. But I can't really see Fnatic losing this one. I would take probably Fnatic 3-0. But really, the LEC is going to be crazy this weekend. 3 banger series. I mean, all of these are pretty interesting to me. I'm going to be tuning in for all of them. And then even as the playoffs progresses, I think it's still exciting. I think it's still cool. I think this could really be one of the most exciting and interesting LEC playoffs really to date. I mean, there's no dominant team. Rogue is the 1 seed, but it's not like they're going to roll over everyone. Every team has looked beatable. Every team has looked unbeatable at times. So I think it'll be really fun. I think it's going to be exciting. I cannot wait for these LEC playoffs. I think viewership's going to be awesome. I think the hype, the storylines, everything's going to be there. I hope you guys are excited as well too. And the spicy thing is how the bracket is set up between Mad Lions, G2, Fnatic, 3 teams that have all looked pretty good throughout the season, especially in the summer split. At least one of them is not going to Worlds. So when you start thinking about the off season, which is obviously what I'm all about, you know, my rumors, my team changing, my roster talk, all that, you know, I want the YouTube channel to pop off. I want us to be going crazy. There's going to be some moves made this offseason. For whoever doesn't go to Worlds, some things are going to change. Some things are going to happen. And when you look at Mad Lions, Carzzy and Kaiser are both free agents. If they don't make Worlds, there is some rumors that Kaiser could move on. Will they bring Carzzy back? I don't know. G2, if they don't make Worlds, there's a lot of stuff they could do. Fnatic, if they don't make Worlds, Hylissang is a free agent. Whippo is a free agent. I don't know. One of these teams for sure will not be making it. So I think this offseason is going to be very, very spicy. But it all starts with whatever happens in this playoffs. But yeah, I don't know. There's a ton of good teams in the LEC. I'm hyped. I'm excited. But yeah, that's kind of everything I had for the LEC right now. So I'm going to take a quick drink of water, get a quick break in here. We'll get into the LCS in a second. I'll kind of, you know, take in your guys' comments and everything. Cobalt donated $5. He said, hope Beyond the Rift is going good. If you had to choose, what 3 teams from LCS and LEC are going to World, do you think? So, yeah, it's a great question. Honestly, right now, I am going to take Rogue, Mad Lions, and G2 in the LEC. The volume is way too low. All right, we can maybe turn that up a little bit. All I don't want to turn it up too high. I don't want to destroy your ears. All right, I turned it up a little bit. We'll see how that goes. I'm going with Rogue, Mad Lions, and G2 from the LEC. And from the LCS, I have taken TSM, Evil Geniuses, and Team Liquid. And I'm really confident about those now, especially with Team Liquid looking so good yesterday. Cloud9 maybe looking a little bit rough. But yeah, that's kind of that. Cobalt, I appreciate the donation. But yeah, you guys can all put in the teams that you think are making it too. That's totally fine. Just because you asked me doesn't mean you guys can't share your thoughts and opinions. I want this to be, a kind of a back and forth type thing. Volume seems fine to me. All right, yeah, sounds good. I mean, that's another thing too. It's going to depend if people are using headphones, if people are using speakers or whatever. But it's the same settings I use for my YouTube videos. So if my YouTube videos have sounded fine for you, hopefully this does as well. 1 second. I just talked for like 12 minutes straight, so I'm going to take a drink of water real quick, and we'll get into the LCS. Any final comments you have about the LEC or whatever, get those in. Let me know. I'd love to hear them. You have your computer at a 20 out of 100 and you're fine. Sounds good to me. We're Fnatic need to go for Worlds. Yeah, Fnatic is in a tough spot, dude. Look at how many games they need to win straight. They need to beat Vitality. Then they need to beat Misfits. Then they need to beat the loser of Mad Lions G2. Like, Fnatic, they've been good, but they have to win so many games. That losers bracket is going to be tough. So, good luck to Fnatic. I like watching Fnatic play. I don't have anything against Fnatic, but I just think the path is going to be easier for the loser between Mad Lions and G2 than it is for Fnatic to go all the way. Especially because Fnatic kind of fell off towards the end of the season a little bit. But enough about the LEC. Let's get into the LCS, where the playoffs actually started last week. And so far, so good. Honestly, the EG Dig series wasn't that hype. Didn't really care that much about it. Kind of went exactly as everyone expected. EG 3-1 over Dig. Dig does steal a game. EG's a little inconsistent. Dig does some things well, so I'm not surprised that they did take a game. But the interesting thing for me here between EG and Dig, Svenskeren did not play a single game. Contracts played in all 4 games for Evil Geniuses. So that could mean a couple things. One, it's possible that Svenskeren has played his final game ever for Evil Geniuses. I mean, it's unlikely, but it's possible. If they think Contracts is just doing a better job, if he's doing better in scrims, if they think the meta suits him better or whatever, they could ride out Contracts. That is very, very possible. Now, say they get down 0-2 in a series, whether it's their next series, whether it's the semifinals, whether it's the finals, whatever, I could definitely see them popping in Svenskeren, even if they still think Contracts is their starter. Sometimes you have an off day, sometimes you have a bad matchup against a team, sometimes the other team has a good read against you, whatever. I could see Svenskeren hopping in some more games, but I do expect for the near future for Contracts to be the starter. I do expect against 100 Thieves this weekend to see Contracts starting. Now, that's just for the rest of the playoffs. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. We'll see if Contracts keeps popping off or whatever. But leading into the offseason, this brings me there once again, I don't think Svenskeren wants to split time. Svenskeren left Cloud9 because they wanted him to split time with Blabber. Now, does Evil Geniuses want Svenskeren and Contracts to split time going into the future? Maybe. Maybe they're just going to ride out with Contracts and get rid of Sven. Maybe they're just going to sell off Sven. But maybe they offer Sven a 6-man roster going into 2022. Again, it's going to depend on how the playoffs go, how Worlds goes, all that. Nobody knows for sure, but just kind of thinking ahead a little bit. And then, if Svenskeren does decide to move on, he's going to be a free agent. This is a very, very decorated player. I don't think he is right now what he was in like 2017 or 2018, but I still think he's a very, very capable player. So that's kind of interesting. That is one storyline I'm following throughout the playoffs. On the other side, Team Liquid and Cloud9. With Cloud9 looking as bad as they did against Team Liquid, and Team Liquid looking as good as they did against Cloud9, I don't want to take anything away from Team Liquid. They looked good, but Cloud9 is now in a very, very rough spot. They just spent all this money on perks this offseason. They, are in this position where they're spending all this money, and now they're in a rough spot where they might not make it to Worlds. And again, this leads me to the offseason talk of, man, this offseason could be so, so spicy. This is the second year in a row that Cloud9 has looked great in the spring. And then, last year we didn't get to see that at MSI, so we don't know if they would have kept looking good or not, whatever, it's anyone's guess. But falling off in the summer. We don't see a whole lot of teams in LCS history win Spring Split and then not make it to Worlds. Cloud9 is at risk of doing that 2 years in a row at this point, and a lot of it, I don't want to say a lot, looking at from last year and this year, Blabber has been a big person. Spring Split MVP 2 years in a row. And then he won third team jungler in this summer, but that's because Santorin missed a lot of the split. I think it was a contentious third all-team, all-pro team, whatever jungle for Blabber. I think you could have ranked him lower, and I wouldn't argue too much. So, he hasn't been the only problem for Cloud9. Perks has not been good. Blabber has not been good. Cloud9 is now in a rough spot because this weekend, 2 Worlds positions are going to get locked in. TSM TL, one of them is going to Worlds. 100 Thieves Evil Geniuses, one of them is going to Worlds. And now you have 1 spot left between the loser of both those games and Cloud9. I don't think Dig's going to make a run. I don't think Immortal is going to make a run. I don't think Golden Guardians is going to make a run. But you have 1 spot. And Cloud9 has already lost to Team Liquid, and it was pretty bad. TSM has looked solid throughout the year. 100 Thieves, Evil Geniuses all looked solid. And they all looked, really, I would say all 4 of those teams have looked better in the summer than Cloud9 has. Now, I'm never going to count Cloud9 out. They could turn it on at any point. They have Fudge, who looked like an MVP candidate in the summer. They have Blabber and Perks, who Blabber has been one of the best LCS players of all time. Perks has been one of the best Western League of Legends players of all time. Sven is just class. He is a world-class player. And Vulcan, at times, can be one of the best players in North America. So that is crazy to me with that team, all that talent, all that pedigree, a veteran roster, that they are struggling and they're looking as bad as they are. And again, this is 2 years in a row. So something to me is off here. Again, I think a lot of it starts with Blabber. When Blabber is an MVP candidate, Cloud9 is great. When Blabber is slightly above average, Cloud9 is not so great. So they are going to be put in a weird position if they don't make it to Worlds, which honestly at this point, you would have to say is more likely than not that they don't make it to Worlds. That could lead to another spicy offseason. I don't think Sven is going to be getting his green card this offseason. So Cloud9 already has 1 import. Excuse me. They already have 1 import slot with Perks, and you got to think they're keeping him. They signed him to a 3-year deal. They spent all this money. He's so good for branding. You got to think he'll probably be better next year. Then they're going to have to make a decision. Do they want to move on from Blabber? Do they want to keep him? Do they want to go and get an import 80 carry and replace Sven? Do they want to promote King and then have an import slot to go get a Yankos, to go get a Self-Made, to go get somebody like that? Because I don't know, there's not going to be a ton of junglers on the market that are just going to be straight up upgrades from Blabber. He's been great, but when Blabber is so-so, especially after a poor international performance like he had as well, I don't know, you're going to have to start asking questions. Because Cloud9 is a team that is now spending in the millions per year, and they're spending that to go to Worlds. If they miss Worlds 2 years in a row, you'd have to start questioning it. And yeah, Jeff is asking, is Cloud9's coaching staff the same as last year aside from Mithy? Maybe the coaching staff is a problem. That is a very, very fair question. Is it the coaching staff? Is it the management team? Is it the infrastructure, the environment they have at Cloud9? What is going on that we have seen 2 really, really historic and devastating collapses on Cloud9 2 years in a row? Why do they start so strong? Why do they fade as the year goes on? It's anyone's guess. Obviously, we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, and there's so many variables at play, but it's really concerning. But then still, Cloud9 could make a run if they maybe knock out TL, TSM, 100 Thieves, EG, whoever out of the playoffs. No matter what, offseason's still going to be spicy. There's 4 big spending teams in North America. At least one of them is not going to Worlds. So things are going to be interesting. I'm so excited. But then, again, we have some big games coming up this weekend. I'm not really excited about the losers bracket. Immortals, Dignitas. I'm honestly probably going to take Immortals. I don't really care who wins that much, to be honest. So I'm not too concerned about that one. And then GGC9. Yes, GG has looked so much better since they got Licorice. Yes, Ablaze Olive, I think, is one of the most improved players. Whatever. Last year Cloud9 did have Rainover, but Rainover's still on the coaching staff now. He's just not the head coach anymore. I think he just helps out with, jungling and stuff. But yeah, I'm not too excited about the losers bracket. I think C9 will win easy. TSM TL, going to be a banger. 100 Thieves EG, going to be a banger. And again, 2 world slots are on the line. In Europe, we have 2 world slots on the line. In the LCS, we have 2 world slots on the line. We're going to find out a lot of stuff this weekend. I think it's going to be fun. Also, in the LCS, there's a ton of trash talk going around. Alfari tweeting out, morning, is Fudge still freezing? He's really going in roasting Fudge. He had a big series, and now he's allowed to trash talk. He said after the game, Alfari said, I'm not surprised, GG. Before the game, he said, I gave Fudge and Blabber so much fake confidence. Last playoffs will be a lot of fun exposing them today. Alfari's growing on me, guys. He is becoming one of my favorite players in the LCS, and he has some other tweets as well. He has been tweeting at Spica and stuff a ton. There's just a ton going on, and he's getting this trash talk going with Cloud9, getting a little rivalry going there, but obviously he already took them down, and he has been tweeting about and at TSM a ton as well. And there's definitely a rivalry there. There's definitely some bad blood. And the fact that TSM and TL are matching up with a world spot on the line in the playoffs, I love it. Spica getting into the trash talk, Alfari getting in the trash talk, two teams with huge fan bases, two players with huge fan bases. I think this is exactly what the LCS needs. LCS needs rivalries. It needs trash talk. It needs players with personalities. And it needs their good players to be the one doing it. I think Spica is the MVP of the summer split. I think Alfari is one of the best, if not the best player in the entire LCS when he's healthy, when he's playing. I love that these guys are going at it. And before this game, there's going to be more trash talk. There's going to be more spice. And after this game, there's going to be more trash talk. And there's going to be more spice as well. And I'm so excited for that. We do have a little budding rivalry and everything going on. As far as Jizuke, he's actually had a lot of kind of trash talk and stuff going on as well. I can't remember where I have the... Yeah, we have the clip here. When he was on like the analyst desk, he was kind of trash talking Abadage. I didn't know this, but when Jizuke was on Vitality, Abadage was the Vitality Academy mid laner. So he's saying like, Abadage was under me then, he's gonna be under me now. They're both trash talking. Abadage said Jizuke's like never beat me in lane or anything like that. So TSM and TL has the trash talk. They have the spice. 100 Thieves EG, they have the trash talk. They have the spice. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a great weekend of LCS, and it's exactly what the LCS needs. They've been unexciting. Viewership's been dropping. It's been disappointing. But these are some good matchups. These are some spicy matchups. So, yeah, that's kind of what I have as far as the LCS goes as well. So I'm going to take a look at some of your guys' comments and everything now. He says, God, I love Alfari. Man, I do too. Man just gaps lane. Yes, he really lanes like no one else we have in the LCS. Any chance GG upsets C9? Yes, I think there is some chance because I think Cloud9 could be a little tilted. They could be a little mental boomed after last week. TL really tore them apart. But at the end of the day, I think Golden Guardians is a team on the come up, but I think they're a little too young, a little too inexperienced, a little too inconsistent. I think they'll be a good team going in the future, but I don't think Golden Guardians is ready to beat Cloud9 just yet. But again, if they did, would I be like shocked? Would I say it's one of the biggest upsets ever? No, there's a chance they pull it off. But Cloud9 is a heavy favorite for sure. We missed the old Cloud9 get Sneaky back on the team. Hey, no Sneaky, no world. I'm telling you guys, there's something there. Selling Blabber for a lot of money, get Yankos, Jungmig synergy is C9's big problem. Yes, I agree there. That's the other thing. If you sell off Blabber, you're going to get a big thing of money, and you're going to be able to go get Yankos or go get a self-made, something like that. The one thing to worry about is if you sell off Blabber and he does good on another team. Like when TSM sold off Doublelift, he went to Team Liquid. He made things tough for them. I could see Blabber doing that on another team in North America as well. Cloud9 might have to take that risk, though. EG to Worlds, Danny difference. Yes, dude, I've been so impressed with Danny, and I think that's just another sign that we need to give some more, young players a chance. Like 100 Thieves with Kenvi. I think he could be the Danny, how Danny was this split. I think that's what Kenvi could do for 100 Thieves next year. So I think that is kind of interesting. Jizuke actually flamed the fuck out of Deathly in some interview I read on Reddit. Yes, I'm going to be talking about that probably in a video this week as well. That is hilarious. Who are the key free agents this offseason? There's a lot of big LEC free agents. I actually have the contract database pulled up in one of these. I don't know if there's any too big of LCS free agents. In Europe, there's Kaiser, there's Karzi, there's Self-Made, there's Bwipo, and there's Hillisang are the big free agents in Europe. As far as North America goes, I honestly don't even know if there's too many big ones. Broxa, Pobelter, Demonte, Smoothie. We got Dignitas, we have Acadian. Lorlo is going to be a free agent. Jizuke will actually be a free agent. That'll be kind of interesting, kind of spicy, but I do expect him to stay. Really not. In the LCS, players have kind of been locked up for a while. Shouldn't be anything too crazy. Dignitas Dardoch is a free agent. I'm not really seeing anything else, to be honest. Yeah, most of the LCS players are actually locked up for a while, but that doesn't mean we can't see moves this offseason. We can definitely still see some moves. Sven and Blabber free agents next year. Probs, where do they end up? I mean, yeah, that's a good question. When I was talking about Sven, I could see him on one of the bottom LCS teams, and really that's it. I said, maybe Cloud9, or not Cloud9, maybe CLG, something like that for Sven Skaren. And Blabber, I don't know. Honestly, I think one of the dark horse candidates is what if Blabber ended up on Team Liquid? What if that happened? Core JJ, all of a sudden that Core JJ is going to get his green card, so people are talking about maybe Team Liquid going and importing a jungle. What if Team Liquid bought Blabber from Cloud9? I might make a video about that because I think that would be pretty interesting. Do you like LCS Summer and Summer playoff format? How many games are played and how many teams qualifying for playoffs? So I don't love the LCS format. I think 8 teams making the playoffs is too much. I think 6 would have been fine. I really like how the LEC does it. But there is a ton of games. It'll be fun. It'll be exciting. But like right now, Immortals Dignitas, that's not a playoff game. I don't care about that. Cloud9 Golden Guardians, I don't care about that. So, it's like whatever. I think 6 teams would have been way more cooler for regular season, playoff races, and for the postseason. But, whatever. All right, enough about the LCS. That was kind of all I want to talk about there. The last topic I have to talk about today is going to come from the rest of the world. I want to talk about the LCS a little bit. I want to talk about the LEC a little bit. And then I want to give everybody else some love if there are other stories. Sometimes we'll only talk about LCS and LEC. It's going to depend week to week. But this week, something big, something exciting. LOL Esports tweeted out the longest ongoing win streaks around the world. So I wanted to kind of shout out these teams that are hot right now. And I also wanted to talk about the team at the top. We have Sandbox in the LCK on a 6-game win streak. If you're ever on a 6-game win streak in the LCK, you're doing something right. You're doing something good. We have Order Army in the LCO on a 7-game win streak. Pain Gaming from Brazil on a 7-game win streak. FPX peaking right before the playoffs with an 8-game win streak in the LPL. I'm definitely a big fan of FPX. Obviously, DoinB is really, really fun to watch. They got Nuggery up in the top lane. I want to see FPX at Worlds. I'm disappointed I didn't get to see them at MSI, so that's going good. Detonation Focus Me out of Japan. They were a scary team at MSI. They're looking hot going into the playoffs, going into Worlds as well. But the team at the top, you guys all know them if you tuned into MSI. PSG Talon on an 18-game winning streak. And what does that mean? That they went 18-0. They had an undefeated season. They had a perfect split. Now, in the spring, I want to say they went 17-1. Quote me. Yes, they went 17-1. And this was very, very impressive. And then they went to MSI with Doggo as their AD carry. Doggo is not their main AD carry. I believe Doggo plays on Beyond Gaming. I'm not an expert of this league or anything. Yes, Doggo is on Beyond Gaming, but PSG Talon had issues with Unified not being able to go to MSI. So they ended up qualifying in the top 4, making the top 4 at MSI. With another team's AD carry that they just kind of threw in last minute. Now, obviously, being back in the PCS, having Unified for the whole split, they have now went 18-0. They're about to head into the playoffs. We'll see how that goes. I don't know if the playoffs have started for them or not yet. The playoffs have not started for them yet, but I expect them to be able to run through the playoffs very, very easily. I am excited to see PSG Talon at World because with Doggo, they looked great. Doggo looked very, very good. He looked very, very impressive. But Unified has had better stats. Unified has been better than him in the PCS. Maybe because he plays on a worse team. Maybe because he's just worse. I don't know. But yes, it does mean that the PCS is trash. I understand. The PCS is not a super deep league or anything like that. But again, PSG Talon went to MSI and did better than Cloud9. They qualified better than Cloud9. And they played on a similar level as Mad Lions, at least to me. This was the LEC champion. I think that this team deserves respect. And with their AD carry back, as long as he can go to Worlds, as long as they don't have any other issues, PSG Talon is going to be a very, very scary team. And the fact that you could have, we're going to have some crazy groups at Worlds. There's going to be 4 LCK teams, 4 LPL teams, and PSG Talon. It's going to be harder than ever, to get out of groups and stuff. And LCS hasn't been doing a great job at that recently. That's going to be tough. But even over in the LEC, G2 is not what they were. Mad Lions, Rogue. I don't know. This is going to be a fun world. It's going to be very, very competitive. 4 LPL teams and 4 LCK teams is going to be crazy. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys this update that, yes, PSG Talon went 18-0 during their regular season. They did pull off the perfect split. Their spring was not a fluke. MSI was not a fluke. They've done better. They've gotten better. And they're ready to kind of go into Worlds swinging. Again, I expect them to go really, really well through playoffs. And if they are better with Unified than with Doggo, they're going to be even scarier at Worlds. Now, there is a chance that maybe they're better off with Doggo. Who even knows? But we'll have to wait and see. But, man, definitely keep an eye out for PSG Talon. Sandbox did tweet at them, and they said if you guys were in the LCK, you wouldn't be going on that type of win streak. But I don't know. They looked pretty good. Obviously, they wouldn't go 18-0 or anything, but they're still a pretty good team. They definitely deserve respect, so they definitely had to respond to that. They said, don't be like that. We should be celebrating teams that are on win streaks from all regions. And then they tweeted this out that shows that Sandbox has finished 7th in the LCK in 2020, 9th in the LCK in 2020. They finished 8th in the spring. So, if FPX or if another top team from one of the other top leagues, if FPX was you wouldn't do this in LPL, or if Damwon tweeted at them and said they wouldn't do this, or they tweeted out MSI results or something, that would be a pretty good roast. That'd be a little bit funnier. But for Sandbox to be the team saying this, obviously PSG wasn't going to take that lightly. They weren't just going to let that happen. So, yeah, be looking out for that. Obviously, PSG has a chip on their shoulder. So many people, even in the chat right now, are just saying, oh, well, PCS sucks. They're just going undefeated in a crap league or whatever. But they finished better than Cloud9 at MSI. They're a scary team. I'm excited. I'm interested. And anytime you can go 18-0, that's tough. Best of ones are volatile. Best of ones are crazy. And obviously, groups at Worlds are best of ones. So if you're good in best of ones, you got a good shot at making it to the bracket. And if you're PSG Talent and you make it into the top 8 at Worlds, that's already pretty damn good right there. But that is all I have for you, ladies and gentlemen. Those were kind of the 3 main big topics I wanted to talk about: LEC, LCS, and PSG Talon's perfect season. That is kind of what's on my mind for the rest of the playoffs. That is what is on my mind, just going forward, heading into Worlds and everything like that. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this. The very first episode of Beyond the Rift with IAMJERM. I have no idea how this is going to go. I have no idea what we're going to do week to week, but it's going to be like this. I'm going to get a bunch of topics. We're going to go live. We're going to chat. We're going to hang out. Again, every single Monday, I'm going to be putting out episodes. I don't work on Monday, so I have some extra free time. The VODs will be on Patreon, patreon.com/IAMJERM, for anyone who wants to check those out on demand and everything. Definitely, I would appreciate it a ton. It's an awesome way to help support me, myself, my content, and my channel. Because, making money on YouTube is tough. All that stuff's crazy. The next one is going to be next Monday. People are saying, some people saying great stream. I appreciate it so much. This will get better. I'm already looking at getting a new mic. We're going to be maybe getting a new cam. We're going to maybe be, upping the production value and everything like that. But yeah, I'm so excited. I think this will be really cool headed into the rest of the playoffs, headed into Worlds. Talking about the off season in a live stream format, I think is going to be super, super fun. And I think it's going to be super, super exciting. And yeah, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Honestly, viewership has been really crazy on this episode. I didn't really know what to expect, but it's been good. We had 80 or so people in here. But yeah, if you guys want to check out the live streams, they'll be at pretty much about this time every single Monday. And yeah, we'll kind of go from there. I know there's no perfect time that's going to work out from everybody. I live on the West Coast of the United States, so it's tough for me to get times that fit for Europe and for the East Coast and everything like that. Tales of Octavia said he really enjoyed this. Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad. Like I said, I've never done this before. I've never talked for 40 minutes straight about topics and made a big long video. Do you plan on having this as a kind of a normal video with occasional interaction with chat, or having general directions and talking with chat all the way through? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what's going to work out better. I don't know what's going to be a better viewing experience for people. I really don't know. I'm just kind of making things up as I go. Each week I'll see how it goes. My thoughts were kind of do a topic, respond to chat. Do a topic, respond to chat. Do a topic, respond to chat. Maybe we can add in, a viewer question segment at the very end. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be whatever we make of it. I'm going to have to practice and get better each week and make some new adjustments. You guys are going to have to give me your feedback. And yeah, this can be whatever we want. If you guys ever have questions or topics you want me to talk about, feel free to tweet at me. Feel free to post in the Patreon. Feel free to leave comments on YouTube. So I'm always looking for ideas. Talking for a half hour, 45 minutes, it's not easy. So the more stuff we have to talk about is definitely going to be good. Next week is going to be fire. I mean, there's going to be so much to talk about next week. We're going to know who's going to Worlds. We're going to know who's in the losers bracket. I can't wait. I hope you guys are excited. But yeah, thank you guys all so much for stopping by. I think we're going to wrap this one up because my mouth's a little dry right now. I'm a little tired. I want to go get like a drink and kind of chill for a little bit. But I think this was good. I think this was fun. Yeah, I can't wait for next week. And hopefully, starting any new project is scary. You never know how it's going to do, if it's going to perform bad, good, whatever. But things take time to build up. Great things, hopefully each week gets a little bit better. Hopefully each week does a little bit more. And yeah, it's gonna be what we make of it. So I'm gonna do everything I can to make this bigger and better each week. I would love your guys' support as well, and we'll kind of go from there. Have a good weekend, guys. Not weekend. It's my weekend because I have Mondays off, so that's why I said that. But whatever. Hopefully I catch you guys next week. But until then.